Live. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Healing Circle number 34. We have a very special guest tonight, Jason Kirkpatrick, joining us from Big Pine, Florida Keys, down in the Key West area, and I'm really excited about it. And before we bring him on, I just want to announce that in about 27 minutes, we're going to take a pause so that we can call into Blog Talk, and that's when we will resume. And we will also take a short moment to do the water blessings for anyone who would like some healing water. Jason, welcome. Please say hello while I light the candle behind me, okay?
Excellent. Hello, everybody. My name is Jason Kirkpatrick, and as Jean said, I am in the Florida Keys. I am a healer who started off with Reiki, and I got into meditations and doing more like kind of I would say, I don't want to say higher energy, but Reiki pretty much is kind of the basis of what I do, but as every healer, I kind of call it the gateway modality. So that was what got me into it, which led me to Jean, and that led me on a path of learning a lot more. And now I kind of incorporate lots of different things. I'm a certified life coach. I have a website, thevisionlifecoach.com, which is kind of being constructed right now. So that will be up soon, and you can reach me on Facebook. Right now it's Dancing Pathways, but I'm going to be updating it to Vision Life Coaching.
Awesome. And you also are studying shamanism, aren't you?
I am learning shamanism. A form of shamanism called curanderismo, which is a Mexican tradition. Yeah. But I've also learned lots from you as well.
Could you just share what that means?
Mexica is it's pretty much saying it's Mexican. The curanderismo traces its lineages back to the Aztecs and the Mayans.
It's very cool, very cool. Just like my shamanic studies in Peru are based on the Incan traditions.
Yes, I want to go and learn from them.
Well, we could always do some stuff too together, and you could still go to Peru and work with them.
I'm being guided right now. I might be going to learn some. They have a school of druidry over in England that I thought about maybe learning some stuff from too.
Ooh, then you could bring in the Merlin stuff.
That's exactly what I was.
Which I would also like. I want to weave that in. Not the Merlin, but in tonight's discussion, I would like to weave in, also keeping the balance of the 4 elements within. So I think we should touch on that too. And Jason, since you and I were together in person when we first got guided for balancing the heart soul song in the ego, let's do that at some point. Would you like to tonight?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Okay, so anyway, what I would like to start off with is I want to just update everybody what's happening. We have, and Jason, please, I will pause for you to jump in. I've got notes here, so I'm kind of going to look a little bit. Right now, with the way the planets are lined up and the energies that are emanating as a result, we are actually in the phase of 2016 already with purging. Are you aware of that, Jay?
I was kind of just listening to some stuff about that just before the show, actually. So I'm not fully aware because I didn't hear everything that's going to be happening. But yeah, it's really some pretty deep, heavy things about our relationships and how we are in our relationships. That's pretty, exactly.
And now how important it really is in relationships to be very clear with each other when communicating.
Right. And that relationships right now, it's pretty much like everyone's going through a crash course.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, hold on tight. And I can definitely say life has been feeling like it's speeding up to that. And so, it might feel like it's scary right now, but just think you're going to blink and it's going to be over.
Oh, yes. And it's going to increase the intensity is going to increase because we're going to have the media promoting fear. We've got all this war stuff out there between Russia and the Middle East and all that stuff happening right now that is increasing. And
I think the Paleo report said something about Sagittarius being the great traveler. And that's why all of the I don't know, Sagittarius is in something or something's in Sagittarius, which is that's why he said
Jupiter. Sagittarius is being influenced by Jupiter right now and Saturn.
And that's why you have all the refugee stuff going on.
Yeah.
You know, just knowing and hearing that the planets have that much of an effect on us because of the energy of things, it's like, whew, that's pretty intense.
Yes, and before we get into the moon cycles, I just wanted to add that this is considered in the astrology world as the dark times.
Oh, that I didn't know.
Yes, and the dark times is about really going inside and seeing what really is truth and what have we been programmed to allow ourselves to believe. And it's very important to stay in taking breaths and stay calm. You know, just as an example, I had a couple of things occur yesterday and today that would have taken anybody like right out and under. In fact, we were just discussing some of them before the show.
Yeah.
And what I'm doing personally, before we get into the rest of it, is I'm remembering to take breaths. I'm also remembering to say, you know what, Jean, we're in major time changes right now. Everything is shifting, everything is spinning, so that we can all purge, so that we can all come into the reality and really go within and get our answers.
Mm-hmm.
And thank God Mercury comes out of retro on October 7th.
Oh, hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Okay.
It's weird that, like, it's only been for a few days, but when you're sensitive to energy, like a few days of this chaos and turmoil, when you are so aware of everything, it's like, lock me in my room.
Yes, Jason, just to add to this, because anybody who's listening, anyone who got any major awakenings or purgings as a result of the lunar eclipse that we just had on Sunday night, whoo-hoo. I had a fire going. I was right next to the fire in my lounge chair. I was facing the moon. I connected all my chakras. And I said, okay, lay it on me. I'm ready. Lift the veils. Well, let me tell you, they always say, be careful what you ask for, right? And you say that also. Yeah. Because what they did was they opened me up full force. You know how, like, when you and I have discussed where we've had Christ-conscious heart openings?
Right, yes.
And you start sobbing.
Crying and laughing hysterically to the point where your partner thinks you're going insane.
Yes, but you're not crying sad. You're crying joy because your heart is just in the It's
the most amazing feeling in the world.
I know. I love that feeling. Anyway, my empathic gifts that turned up. So I was feeling everybody and everything. And what helped me, and this is a good tool for anybody out there that's listening, what helped me was I went down and I sat by water. I went down by the lake by Arnold Bay, which I know you know where that is, and sat there for 2 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. And between the healing powers of Mama Champlain and meditating with the divine, helped me to like turn the volume down and come back to where I was just in myself and not sensing everybody around me.
It's so important to take some time for yourself like that.
Well, yes, we talk about self-love all the time, and that is self-love.
That's sometimes the hardest self-love that you can give yourself is like, hey, I need 2 hours to go and reconnect with myself and just bring myself back to homeostasis. Like, the world can be intense sometimes, and we need to give ourselves that time out.
Yes, and it's really important for us light workers who are awake, who are in strong places, because I know there's lots of holistic people out there that are still have not purged their deep suppressed stuff, and that's okay. I'm not judging it. All I'm saying is that those of us who are able to be grounded and solid, excuse me, need to be that extra shining light for those who are suffering.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, very much so.
So I'm not used to looking at the time in the evening, so I'm keeping an eye on it. So would you like to go through the phases of the moon? Would you like to do that?
Well, when I look at the phases of the moon, I don't necessarily break them down. I'm still learning to go with the phases of the moon. Like, I've learned a lot about the moon in a shamanistic point of view. So I'm kind of going through this time in my life where I'm going through life and I'm paying very much attention to the moon itself. So instead of me saying, oh, I wonder when in the month it is, or me having to look up and say, okay, when is the full moon going to be? I look at the sky and I say, oh, the full moon's going to be in 5 days, 10 days, that kind of thing. So I don't really go by each individual phase. I know I'm learning that stuff. I don't know it yet, but
well, I have it written down so I can share when you're ready.
But the act of manifesting and learning to manifest with the phases of the moon is something that I've been really looking into, and it's amazing that when you're working with the energy of the moon as it's coming towards you, and each phase kind of helps in different ways in your life. And I can't say, like, I haven't looked into the breakdown of what happens in each phase. But you notice the changes. Like, when you want to manifest something on the waxing of the moon, as the moon's getting bigger, you can build up. You want it. That's when your intention should be being written. That's when you're doing your vision board. That's when you're creating, what can I create in my life? And then by the time the full moon hits, that's when the culmination of whatever project you're on or whatever phase, because sometimes our goals are much bigger. You know, like, what can you accomplish every 2 weeks? What can you build and create and manifest in your life? Culminate that at the full moon, or do your best to do as much of that as possible. And then on the waxing of the moon, think of all the things that you've learned, because we're always growing and evolving. So think of, what is it energetically wise that you can now release, and really work on releasing things during the waning of the moon as it goes dark. So that's a releasing time, to the point that I think the Wiccans even do on the dark of the moon, when the moon goes fully dark, they do their banishings of, like, this is what I'm banishing out of my life.
Right, like that's a perfect time also. Like, if you need to write, if you have anybody in your life or in your past that you have unresolved emotions with, but you're not maybe up to speaking to that person face to face or on the phone, then the best thing you can do is write a letter. And in that letter, you can be saying, I forgive myself for this part. I forgive you for that part. I'm, peace and love between us. And now I set that energy free and dissolve it. And then you would burn it.
And burning something, I've done a burning ceremony before, and that it's almost like when you feel like you're holding something in that you really want, like, you're so angry at someone, you really just want to scream, but you feel like you can't for some reason. It's like taking that energy out of you, as if you've screamed at that person. You're getting everything out. I mean, really, as you're writing down, like, if you're really angry at someone, don't filter what you're saying. Allow the anger to flow out of you without any fear of judgment, because no one's going to see it. This is for your eyes only.
Exactly.
God, the creator, the infinite, whatever you want to call our higher self, or the source of energy, is not judging you. Like, they know what's inside you, or us knows what's inside of us all the time. So there's nothing to fear. You write it all out, you get it out, you let it go and burn it as if you've said it to that person.
Right. So when would be a good letter too to do a write and burn for manifesting whatever it is that you want would be that would probably, would that be the crescent or the first quarter, do you think?
Say that part again.
Let me tell you what I have, and then you tell me if it's,
Okay.
you would start that at the crescent or the first quarter, okay? The crescent moon, that's when you start planning with ideas, with strategies, correct?
First crescent, that the new moon.
Okay, so the crescent,
First little sliver, the first amount of light that you get.
so the crescent you're calling also the new moon. Is that what you're saying?
Typically, the new moon, when you look in the sky, you really can't see the moon. It's the dark of the moon is usually, it depends. When I look at on a calendar, the new moon is usually when there's no moon at all. But I've heard some Wiccans refer to that as the dark of the moon. So the majority of the people I talk to say that the new moon is when there is no moon in the sky. When it is what I would consider the explanation of what the dark moon is, kind of fits the new moon. But the Wiccans believe that first little sliver of light that you see is what they call the new moon.
Okay, so so then are you all right? Well, let me read the first quarter. So the first quarter is when you start planning the building, the steps. What steps can you take to achieve what you want, so that you can start with a solid foundation? So are you saying then on the new moon or the first quarter moon would be the best time to do a write and burn for manifesting?
A write and burn I would do when there's no moon in the sky.
Okay. And then how do you, if I hope I'm saying this correctly, the gibbous moon?
Yeah, see, I don't know their individual tiny.
Okay, that's okay.
But I'm learning.
I've got good notes.
We talk about it's more to do with the energy of how it builds and grows. And once you get used to planning a course of this is this, this is this, and this is this, you get used to that cycle. Then you start breaking down the growing part. Well, what's each individual phase of that growing part?
Right. At the gibbous moon is where you would become more detailed. And then you have your full moon, okay, for clearing.
Oh.
Yeah. And so what I've got is, so the full moon, which it's really silly that I never knew this, is that when the sun and the moon are facing each other, and that's what causes that to give that appearance of the full moon, which is kind of fun to know.
Right. They're like in alignment with each other.
Exactly. And perfect words. Thank you for saying that. Because when the sun and the moon are in alignment, and you are in alignment with the details, the core details that you've set up prior, and now you have your concrete foundation. How perfect is that, right?
Well, that's why they say the sun is male energy, because it's, as male energy is, I don't want to use negative words, but male energy tends to be a bit aggressive, more, I don't want to say dominant, but that kind of go get you attitude, whereas feminine energy is much softer and gentler, or more gentle. And when at the full moon, the moon's technically a perfect reflection. They always say that the moon reflects the sun's light. That's what shines in the sky. So when it's a full moon, it's like they're in perfect alignment, because she is a perfect reflection of male energy, just softened.
I love that.
Which then reflects upon us, because that's when we are balanced in ourselves with the divine masculine and the divine feminine at the same time.
Yes, and this is the time where women need to step more present in their femininity, and men need to balance their female energy with their male energy, because it's been male for too many lifetimes, and we see where that has gotten us.
Well, and there's even people randomly speckled throughout that whole spectrum. I mean, we all have our own inner mixture of male and female. We're not 50, 50, like that you're a male, well, you only have this much testosterone and only this much estrogen. Like, it's okay within this range. It gives up your physical body, but then when you start thinking about the mental emotional side of us, there's feminine energy there. So divine masculine and feminine. I'm explaining this for people who might be hearing this for the first time, because
Yep.
that the male and female energy in us is meant to balance us and bring us to our state of wholeness. And for everybody, I mean, you have straight people. It's like gender expression. You have so many the varieties of gender expression, which a lot of people equate that to masculine, feminine stuff. And it's like, I'm just like, we're all, we all just beings, just chill.
Yeah.
Because some people get very caught up on the labeling of, and we have so much stigmas and paradigms about masculine and feminine energy that when we really start working with those energies and start focusing on what that means for us individually, we start learning that, like, oh, this really makes everybody a very specific, unique individual.
Which is not who they really are.
Right. Exactly. Because it's knowing that we are just all beings of love and light. We're all, to me, I like using the term source energy. I like saying that we are the multiple personalities of God. That's what I personally like to say.
I like that.
Christians say that, the Holy Spirit's in you. Well, to me, that Holy Spirit is my connection to God. The Bible says we are the body of Christ. Well, Christ is source energy. So then therefore, if I'm the body of source energy, then therefore I'm God.
And wouldn't that also make us the source energy of Buddha and Kuan Yin and Krishna?
Right. We're technically, I'm one of those people that I believe that we're part of an energy that creates everything.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Part of the computer that I'm looking at talking to you, which that sounds really strange. I think people can understand the idea of, like, yes, I'm one with the tree. Like, yes, you can be one with living things, but part of us is also part of inanimate things, because this inanimate object, this computer, is something that's still part of energy. So therefore, if it's part of energy, I'm part of it.
Right. Good point. And would you agree, Jason, that anyone who decides to live their life by the phases of the moon,
mm-hmm.
when it comes to creating and manifesting and even personal healing, I think personal healing could also fit into that.
My opinion is, as a healer, that do all of your manifestation techniques, do all of your journaling, your vision boarding, your intentions, your gratitudes, use all the tools that work with the phases of the moon. But the more that you start working with the phases of the moon is highly mystical, it's highly spiritual. So how can you really manifest things without being spiritual, without really getting in touch and tune with yourself? And to me, that's healing. The work that you're doing, you might not be laying on a table, you might not be receiving Reiki or healing from a shaman, or any other form of healer, sound healing, but you're doing your own healing, if that makes sense. Like,
yes, and that wraps into what we were talking about the last time we were on a show about people taking responsibility.
Exactly. We're responsible for everything we do, every action, every interaction, whether we say we like it or not. I mean, all life is based on us. We're creative beings. All life is based on what choices we make.
Well, yeah, and a lot of people, when they get caught up in the drama or the chaos or the emotions of it, they don't realize or they don't remember that they've agreed to set that up.
Right. Which can get frustrating, but You know, that was part of one of my very first Christ heart openings, was having this flashback, this time review of my life where I saw every good thing, every mediocre thing, every bad thing, whether, you know, all ends of the spectrum of my life. And I appreciated every single one of them so much that I literally, like, you know, my partner thought I was having a mental breakdown. Um, but your heart opens so much, and you're just like, I can see, it's almost like playing connect the dots. I finally have all the dots. I can now make myself an image um, of certain stages of my life. And that's working with the moon energy and stuff to do that is amazing.
Oh yeah, and you've heard. Oh gosh, I just lost what I was going to say. Um, hmm. um,
Well, obviously, Spirit was trying to say something.
yeah.
So
I think it's important for everyone to know that there are many modalities and many different tools. You know, I think that we're going to break in like less than a minute so I can call into Blog Talk, but I really think we should go into some tools
yes.
um, and some helpful tools, because I know you agree with me. Oh, I remember now what I was going to say. I know you'll agree with me, Jason, that as you were explaining, seeing the whole spectrum of this present life, as you were having your heart opened in a Christ conscious experience, that those are also gifts and blessings too. I know you have heard me say in a dark moment experience, I know there's a gift here. I know there's a blessing right now in the moment. I can't see it, or maybe I can see it, depending on the circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
And then say, okay, step back? What am I to learn from this? What was my part in this?
Right.
What can I do to express myself more clearly? Or how can I be assertive? Thank you, Karen. How can I be assertive without thinking that I'm being mean?
As long as we're always coming from a place of kindness, humility, compassion, and love, then there's nothing that, when we get to a point where we're not looking to someone else to complete us, that we find that within ourselves. It's not the I need to be with you, but it's the I want to be with you form of relationships, whether it be your significant other, friendships, family. To me, excuse me, my throat's dry. It's not about blood relatives. You know, like how some people are all about, like, my life's all about my family.
I have to interrupt you. I have to put you on hold and call in Blog Talk. Please hold that thought, okay?
Mm-hmm. Bob. Pumpkin.
Your shoe will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3,
Good evening, Blog Talk listeners, and thank you for joining me. We have Jason Kirkpatrick here.
Hello.
And we are going to do the water blessing. So let's do that first so that way we can jump right back into the show. We're talking about the planet and the phases of the planet and how you can use them for manifesting and various tools that we're going to get into in just a moment. So, do you have your water, Jay? Okay. All right. So I'm going to put my hands on over the water and do that. So it'll just take a few seconds. Okay, the water's ready. Does it have a taste?
It usually always does. It gets less like minerally. It almost feels and tastes smoother.
Oh, that's right. You're drinking mineral infused water.
Right.
And it purifies some of those minerals out, huh? I think it does that because it does that for you because maybe there's some minerals in there that you don't need right now today.
Oh, that's probably right.
That makes sense to me.
It does.
Okay, so let's see. We left off with the full moon. Let's just finish these last three up.
Okay.
And I hope I pronounce this correctly. Disseminating moon. Disseminating. Thank you. Is that's when your project, your endeavor, your manifestation is ready to be shared. At that point. And
certain parts of your dream, though, I do encourage people when you're really manifesting and you are sharing of your dream, remember that when you share your dream, you're sharing a part of yourself. So remember, when you're first creating something, whoever you're sharing your dream with, they're either meant to be part of building you or being part of your dream, or they're not. And so just be very careful who you share it with, because if you don't share it with people who are going to be supportive of you, you might not get the go that you wanted at first. Doesn't mean it won't happen, but you could create it, instead of taking the straight route, you can kind of go on this winding path.
Exactly, because not everybody really wants the best intentions for everybody.
Exactly.
They might say it consciously, but it doesn't mean that's how they feel on the inside or subconsciously. Because as you know, being in this field, there's a lot of holistic people out there that are still really jealous of other holistic people.
Right. Yeah.
And what they're forgetting, which they already know, because we know this, what they're forgetting is that they're doing a disservice to that friend or family member or lover.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, it's not really helping them move forward because it's keeping them in that stucky muck.
Right. But at the same point, we have to realize that, like Don Miguel Ruiz says in the Four Agreements, not to take anything personally. So, we have to be easy with each other and know that we're all where we are at on our journey and on our path, and that there's going to be young souls to old souls, and we have to be allowing of a certain amount of balance and harmony. You can't have all good and you can't have all bad. There's always going to be this constant flow and mixture to some degree. And we have to be okay with seeing that in other people and not taking it personally when they project at us. But that doesn't mean throw yourself in the way of someone else's negative energy either.
Exactly. I always say that we can love every human being as a divine being, but it doesn't mean that we have to like their behavior and have them in our lives at that time.
Right.
we can hope, if there's someone we care about, that they will heal themselves and wake up more enough to come back into our lives.
Right.
Because I don't know about you when you're doing your healing work, but when I'm doing my healing work, especially with women, it seems that women have lost their power a lot more than men have. And I'm not putting men down at all. Please don't take it that way. But it's been a man's world for so many centuries, and women have been suppressed. And I think personally, and I could be wrong, but I think for some of the personal reasons why men suppressed women all those lifetimes ago is because women are life givers. Women can a man and a woman create the baby, but the woman is the one who carries it and nurtures it and births it. And I know just alone in the Dark Ages, men specifically suppressed women to take their power because they thought it would empower them more. So anyway,
that's what people do to each other in general. But I think the oppression of the masculine to feminine energy is coming to a more balanced, harmonized state right now. And that's why you're seeing a large change in a lot of women with gaining power, but you also are going to find that that road to finding that power for women is probably going to be pretty rough. I mean, some women have to go through abusive relationships and stuff, and as hard and terrible as that sounds, it's like that's part of their journey, right? But look where you got to. You know, my partner's had similar issues, growing up. Not, I would say energetically, not the masculine, feminine energy, but kind of, because my partner's gay, and there's that whole stigma with certain families about what being gay means, and that's part of that whole masculine, feminine battle, flux and flow too.
Well, I think there's always been gay people throughout history. But personally, I think that gay people specifically are more apparent in this lifetime because of the big shifting that we're doing, coming out of really the darkness into the light.
Well, it's the softer side. Yin is the reflection of the sun, so she's more receiving and gentle versus being all about, giving. I don't want it to be me talking constantly all the time. You have to stop and be a partner in the conversation.
And be present. So many times when people want to sit down and have a conversation with their family, their child, a friend, or their lover, and they've got so much on their mind that they want to get out, that they're not really fully being present for the listening. Or even the clear communication.
Right. Well, and I use the word conversation even meaning spiritual conversation. Like, I'm having spiritual conversations with myself constantly all the time. Inner dialogue is important, and you and I realize that because it helps you work through your stuff. But you're constantly, I think dancing taught me that you're constantly having a conversation energetically with life. That's why they have songs, Dancing Through Life. When you listen to those words, that's what it means. We are energy swimming in a pool of energy, and everything we think, everything we do, everything we feel creates that around us. There's ripple effects.
And we just need more people to understand that it also affects all of us.
Right. Exactly. But there's, sometimes I get so overwhelmed when I start thinking about all the things that I think about. I'm like, how is my head not just going that way? I mean, there's so many layers where we're always like, are we doing this right? Are we doing that right? Is this, we always feel like we need so much information.
And then when we think we got it, there's something else.
And really, we just got to let it go.
Yes, which wraps it right back to like this intense weekend. Exactly. Because there's so much conflict that is going to be spewing out and bubbling up and purging out.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually feel sorry for a lot of people right now in that sense,
Mm-hmm.
that are going to be struggling. Um, it's really,
I even
my heart
think
goes out to them.
I even think I don't, it's kind of one of those things that I really don't think that there's nobody who's not affected by this. It says that we're all going through a struggle, but no matter what, you and I, everyone's constantly growing, we're constantly evolving. So there's always going to be some new ceiling to reach, some new venture to explore, some new territory to go through. So everyone's going to experience what they would consider a struggle. Life's all about perspective and awareness. What some of us might feel like, oh, that's really tough. Others of us are going to be like, really? Over that? And it's like, yes, but people like you and I know the journey and how hard it is going through those stages. So that's why we're always like, yes, you've made a stage.
Yes.
You have to celebrate every tiny step along the way. That's what being grateful is about. That's what being present about, being in the moment.
Yes, and that's the gift also of being grateful for the experience.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly. Look at the world and be grateful and in awe and wonder.
Be grateful you have that dirt. Anyway, so
manifesting is being in that state of gratitude. That is the best place to manifest from. Put yourself to what it is in life that you can do for yourself that will put you in that feeling, and then make that your goal.
Yeah, because as you know, sometimes it takes writing little notes and stick-it notes and putting them around your house, maybe on your bathroom mirror, maybe in your car. I have little stick-it notes. I don't know if you've ever noticed. My stick-it notes say things like, always, allow your dreams to unfold. Never let anyone stand in your way for your dreams. And, always, what's that other one that I have? Never doubt the path you've chosen.
I do. I like to do it with my intentions. I do have little cutesy things like on the mirror say you're beautiful just because, but I also like to put what am I focusing on and trying to do in my life. Like I'm using the phases of the moon. Okay, what's my intention for this phase? Like what am I doing? What am I building? What am I creating? What am I releasing or getting ready to release? Like what's my process?
Right. And there's so many tools out there that you can use to fall back on to help you through this process of manifesting through the moon phases. Besides healers, there's all kinds of information on Google, on YouTube, and in books, and
Well, of us out there who are awakening to our gifts now and our unique talents, that we also have to realize that healing is going to come and our spirituality is going to come in a plethora of ways. When I was doing my life coaching certification, Mary Morrissey likes to say infinite ways to source. And that's always resonated with me.
I like that, infinite ways to source.
Mm-hmm.
So do you have any other tools that you'd like to suggest?
Mine's more about just being mindful.
So, for other people to...
Right. So I teach by sharing what I do in my own life. So my best thing to say is focus on having a journal. I have several of them. I have a regular journal where it's kind of like my conversation with my higher self. And I have a dream journal that is kind of like what's going on in my dream life. And I have a gratitude journal. So at night I write down, although I shouldn't say I have 3 separate ones because I kind of just do them. I have like sections in my regular journal. Like, okay, I'm writing this, then this, and this. And gratitude at night right before I go to bed really keeps your space that even when we're dreaming, we're creating, that energy is always coming out of us. So when you set yourself into a place of gratitude before falling asleep, just think you have easy 8 hours, hopefully if you sleep that long, of manifestation time where you're at your peak manifestation.
Mm-hmm. And I do that personally myself, and I share that on my shows, that each night after I've said my prayers for people, I always go down my gratitude list. I go down my gratitude list of the day, even the lessons and the struggles, and then I go into the gratitude for the following day. So then when I'm waking up in the morning, as I'm going from bed to the bathroom, I'm thinking about all the wonderful things that I'm going to be blessed with that day, because I know that they're going to be coming. Jason, we have a call, so I'm going to just take it on, okay, for a moment?
Yep.
Woohoo. Good evening, caller.
Hello, I was just listening. Actually, I don't have a computer, and I was listening to the show through the phone.
Oh, okay. Okay, then I can put you back on hold. Or is that what you'd like?
I was just wondering if you guys had any dream insight. What I was listening for.
Well, why don't you, Jason, you want to help with some dream interpretation? Technically, I never try to analyze somebody else's dreams. What I do personally is walk the person through their dream so that they can interpret it. How do you handle that, Jay?
That's pretty much what I do as well.
Okay, would you like to share your dream with us?
Yeah, I was sitting in my living room with this guy I know, and he was just sitting there complaining, and then I had fallen asleep. And then in my dream, I woke up, and I thought I woke up in real life. Then this guy hands me flowers, and then his girlfriend's name was on the card and the flowers, and then throws the girlfriend's name in the garbage, and then gives me the flowers. It was very weird.
And how did this dream make you feel?
Exactly.
Well, I was just confused, because I never had a dream before where I woke up, where I thought I had woke up, but I was still dreaming.
That sounds like you had a very profound vision dream to me.
Yeah, I get those a lot, and I'm pretty good with them, but this one has to be a little bit not so sure about.
Do you think this guy is being faithful?
Well, I don't know. He's not my boyfriend or anything. He's just a friend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's not somebody who's like a major impact on my life.
What do you think, Jay?
And this is the guy that's giving you flowers?
In the dream, yeah. This is her friend.
In the dream.
How does it feel when he hands you the flowers? How are you feeling?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
He said, how did you feel when this man in your dream handed you the flowers?
Well, I was confused.
So do you have, if this person's just a friend, I mean, it's making me feel like, is there possibly a way for, maybe you have a feeling that he has feelings for you, or is there some part of you that has feelings towards him, or how do you feel about him as a person?
Honestly, I just think he's a cool person. Like, we're very different people. So as far as like a relationship, whatever, it just would never work.
Well, it doesn't necessarily need to be a relationship. I mean, someone handing you flowers are, there's a whole communication of flowers and what flowers mean and such. I mean, these could be friendship flowers. I mean, we have relationships with people in many different ways. So this, I mean, just because he's handing you flowers, did you feel it was romantic?
Okay.
Did it feel romantic when he was giving you the flowers?
Yeah.
Oh, it did.
Yes.
So do you have a fear of getting close to this man because maybe you just want to be friends and you think if you got close to him that he might want more?
Well, yeah, there's that, and I have this big fear of getting hurt.
Ah.
The reason why we're not very close is actually what I'm doing.
Well, we have a great suggestion for you. My suggestion to you when you are ready is to contact either me or Jason and do a healing on this, because many of us, or all of us, experience being hurt through the heart, whether it's rejection or abuse or abandonment or neglect. And at that point, a lot of times people will close down their hearts and only let people in so far because they're afraid of getting hurt again. So in the meantime, the person who has their heart shut down because they're afraid of being hurt again is missing out on amazing opportunities, because you have nothing to lose by opening your heart if you can maintain no expectations.
And that's really hard to do.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is your contact information?
My contact information is www.geneofdivinehealing.com, all one word.
Okay.
And Jay, you want to give out yours, please?
Mine is jason@visionlifecoach.com.
Okay. I'm going to go check that out on your website. I never even thought of that. Maybe I'm the one preventing my connections with people.
And you know what? If whichever one you choose, me or Jason, to do healing work for you, if you choose to, you're going to get an amazing healing, because Jason has worked on me, I've worked on Jason, and we both make sure that we take care of all present, all past, all parallel and generational programming. That all gets out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I need.
So see, your divine higher self.
Like that.
Your divine higher self had you call in tonight, and I just happened to pick you up. See that?
Yeah.
Don't you love synchronicity?
He said, don't you love synchronicity?
I do.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely do.
We're so glad you called in. I also have healing meditations up on YouTube. So you can even check some of those out. Yeah. And yeah, so just contact one of us and we will make sure that you are all set and your heart is open and you are rocking, because, you know, we go through these experiences to learn lessons. The lessons are self-love, self-worth, and self-acceptance and self-respect. When we have all those things, then we can allow the perfect partner to come into our lives. Do you agree with that, Jay?
Oh, yeah. But I'm also an agreement, you know, there's a...
I lack in self-confidence, I lack in self-trust, and I immensely lack in self-love.
Aw, and you are so beautiful. We got to get you. We got to get you right there.
You just got to start with the small stuff. Got to build the energy up, flex all those mental, physical, emotional muscles.
Yeah. I'm sorry, it's really hard to hear him. It's really fuzzy.
Okay, I'm sorry. Jason, say that again so that I can repeat it for her.
I was just saying that it's everything that you do and be, because we're beings of energy, is like building a muscle. Everything we think, everything we do, everything, it's mental, physical, and emotional. We have to build those muscles as individuals in self-love to the point where we can maintain it.
Yes. What he's saying is it's like going to the gym. You know, when you go to the gym to get your body into shape, and it takes about 6 weeks or so before you even notice a difference or start to notice a difference. Well, it's the same thing. When it comes to healing the self-love, self-worth, self-acceptance, self-worth, I'm not sure if I said that or not, it's working those muscles on all angles. So that means changing your thinking, changing the words that you use. Like, as an example, Someone might say, oh, I'm never opening my heart again because I'm just going to get hurt. By saying that, you continue the pattern of your heart being closed. Is that a good example?
Yes. I love that.
Thank you.
And just to know that it's easier, when we talk about manifesting things, we talk about, start manifesting things in your life that don't really hold of great importance. I think Abraham Hicks says, start thinking about, it was something like blue butterflies or blue flowers. I think it was blue flowers. And all of a sudden she started seeing blue flowers everywhere. I mean, like, you start manifesting simple, nonsensical things in your life to prove to you that, like, I have the power to do this, which gives you the courage and the strength to start then focusing on the bigger things in your life.
Yeah. I completely understand that.
Right. So, like, when we say start focusing on your issues, really look inward and start thinking of other things. Don't directly go home. Like, enjoy the journey, because that's going to make the process more fun. It's not going to make it feel like you're getting hit over the head with a sledgehammer.
And you can start off every day by looking in the mirror and saying, I love you. I
love you.
You are so worthy, and you deserve the best, loving, respectful partner.
I'm actually funny with myself, and when I look in the mirror, I talk to myself like I'm talking to a baby. I'm like, I love you, aren't you so cute? I know I'm pathetic, but that's what I do. I mean, I shouldn't say I'm pathetic. I'm great and wonderful.
You are great and wonderful. See, he just gave us an example of how he threw out a negative about himself.
Yes.
And that's not even something like, the negativity of that word isn't something that I feel, but I'm aware of the social conditioning of us using certain words and terminologies in this is just a saying, or, a guy saying, I'm so pathetic, that is just kind of like an expression that's now used. But now I realize, like, it's so widely used, but it has a lot of negative connotation to it when you really pay attention to what it says. There's no reason I should ever tell myself that I'm pathetic. And that's why some of us would just probably blow right over it. And I'm just like, whoa, I said that.
Well, yeah, because when you say that, you're also validating on another level that that's what you are.
Right. Worthiness issues.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want those anymore.
No, I don't either. And we don't want our caller to have those issues anymore. I'm going to put you back on hold because we have to wrap up the show, okay?
Okay.
But we look forward to hearing you, and thank you for calling in. Oh, thank you. So, Jay, you wrap up real quick who you are.
My name is Jason Kirkpatrick. I have my own business, Vision Life Coaching. You can find me at visionlifecoach.com once my site is finished being created. And you can call me at 802-922-4971.
And I'm Jean Selch, and you can reach me at www.jeanofdivinehealing.com, 802-233-7877. We are so grateful that you have tuned in and joined us, and those who are going to listen later in the archives, thank you. We are so grateful that you take the time to hear what we're talking about and what we're sharing. Namaste. I'm going to let you say goodbye too. Namaste. God bless you. Aho. You are love.
Oh, Mateo, that's all I've got.
All right. Thank you, Google Plus listeners. Thank you, YouTube listeners. Thank you, Blog Talk. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Jean. It's always fun to come and hang out with you in this time. I feel like I'm in a circle of friends just chit-chatting.
I know. And we miss hanging out together, but we'll be seeing each other soon because I'm manifesting coming to see you. Woohoo!
Woo-hoo!
All right.
Make it happen.
What?
We'll make it happen.
We will. Okay, Blog Talk has ended, so we're going to say goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Okay, so now we're going to say goodbye to our Google YouTube listeners. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bless you all, and remember, during this intense time, don't forget to breathe.
Breathe deeply and often.
Yes. Okay, we love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.